Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Dr. Akil Ahmed. I'm working as an assistant professor in the Department of English at VNR VJIT. So today I would like to talk about an essential concept in learning English, which is LSRW. Well, LSRW stands for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And basically, these are the four fundamental skills required to master any language effectively, be it French, be it any mother tongue, maybe Bengali, Hindi, anything. So these are the four fundamental, techniques we need to use. Now, language is not just about, knowing grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. It is actually about communication, how well we understand others, and how clearly we can express our thoughts. And that's exactly where LSRW skills play a really important role. As you got to know, that LSRW stands for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So let's explore this topic in depth. Firstly, listening helps us, to understand pronunciation, intonation, tone, and meaning in real life communication. Secondly, speaking allows us to express our thoughts or ideas confidently and interact with others as well. Thirdly, reading enhances our vocabulary, comprehension, and exposure to different styles of language. And finally, we have writing. Writing helps us organize our thoughts and communicate them clearly and effectively. Now, these four skills are in fact interconnected. For example, good listening naturally improves speaking, and reading regularly enhances your writing as well as your speaking skills. So, together, they actually build a strong foundation for effective communication. Well, in today's globalized world, English has become a key skill for education, career growth, and social interaction as well. So, developing all four LSRW skills is not just important, it's absolutely essential. So, in this video, we will explore, why LSRW skills are important and how they help us become confident and effective users of English. First of all, let us talk about listening. Well, this is actually the foundation of language learning. As we all know, during our childhood, before we learn to speak, we always begin by listening. In fact, we learned our mother tongue simply by listening to people around us, isn't it? So, in a way, listening becomes the very first step towards effective communication. Now, when we listen carefully, we don't just hear words, we also understand pronunciation, intonation, stress, and rhythm of the language. And you see, these elements are very important if you really want to sound natural in English. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. For example, when you listen to English conversations, maybe in movies, series, lectures, or interviews, you begin to notice actually how language is actually used in real life situation. You start picking up expressions, tones, or even emotions behind the words, and gradually your understanding improves. Now, if you really want to improve your listening skills, you should make it a habit to listen to really good contents regularly. For instance, if you can start with podcast, which are really useful for daily practice. I would also recommend listening to the famous Oxford Union debate. I think all of you are aware of it. Oxford Union debate, and especially the speech by Shashi Tharoor, and also in general Shashi Tharoor's speeches. So his speeches are, a great example of clear pronunciation, powerful vocabulary, and also effective delivery. Similarly, you can also listen to famous speeches like the one by Steve Jobs at Stanford University. That speech is in fact very simple yet extremely impactful, and it helps you understand how clarity and storytelling works in communication. Also, you can also listen to narration by Sir David Attenborough. He is my all-time favorite narrator, and very often I listen to him. You can watch Our Planet, a documentary available on YouTube. It is very informative. Also, you will get to know how storytelling works. His narrations are simply outstanding. And of course, you can also explore TED Talks, interviews, and news channels to expose yourself to different accents and speaking styles. Now, the most important thing is don't just listen passively. You have to listen very actively. That means you have to pay attention, observe carefully, and even try to repeat what the other person is saying. This will really help in improving your communication and pronunciation and also fluency as well. So, overall, listening it is not just about a skill, key skill, it's in fact the foundation that supports all other skills. The more you listen, the better you speak, read, and write. Next comes speaking. Now, speaking is, one of the most important skills when it comes to communication. Because at the end of the day, language is meant to be spoken, right? So it's about expressing your ideas clearly and confidently. But honestly speaking, many learners hesitate to speak, maybe because of shyness or maybe nervousness. They may think, what if I say something wrong? Or maybe people will judge me. And that fear, you see, often stops them from even trying. But actually, making mistake is a natural part of learning process. In fact, through mistakes only we improve, isn't it? So instead of worrying about too much about being perfect, it's better to focus on practicing regularly. The more you speak, the more comfortable and confident you become. Now, speaking is not just about knowing words, it's about using them effectively. You need to think, frame your ideas, and express them in a clear and meaningful way. And this comes only with practice. You can start with simple things like talking to your friends, maybe, or describing your surroundings. Maybe you can describe that what is in front of you, what is on your right side, what is on your left side. And also, you can also participate in discussions or even speaking in front of a mirror. You can also use bilingual at first. Later on, you can change it to English only. Another useful technique is, self talk. Try to describe your day, your thoughts in English. Maybe you will feel a little awkward at first, but gradually it will really improve your fluency. And very importantly, you can also use something called the shadowing technique. Now, this is very important. The question is, what is shadowing? Actually, it's a method where you listen to a speaker and try to repeat exactly what the speaker is saying, almost at the same time, like an echo. This helps you improve your pronunciation, stress, and intonation. You can try this with speeches, podcast, or English series. At first, it will be a bit difficult for you, but with practice, you will notice a huge improvement in your speaking. So overall, speaking is not just about fluency, it's about confidence, clarity, and continuous practice. The more you speak and the more you practice techniques like self-talk and shadowing, the better you become. Moving on to reading. Well, reading plays a really important role in improving both vocabulary and comprehension. In fact, it's one of the most effective ways to strengthen your overall language skills. When you read regularly, you are naturally exposed to new words, different sentence structures, and a variety of writing styles. And the best part is you don't just learn words in isolation. You actually understand how they used in context. Now, over time, this really helps you build a strong vocabulary. You start recognizing patterns, sentences, and also flow, and the natural way through which ideas are expressed in English. And without even realizing it, your grammar also improves. So you can try that. Another important benefit of reading is that it develops your critical thinking skills, because when you read, you don't just go through the text, you actually try to understand, interpret, and sometimes even ask question what the writer is saying, and that makes you a thoughtful learner. You know, also reading exposes you to different ideas and perspective as well. So gradually, you not only improve your language but also you expand your thinking. So overall, reading it is not just about vocabulary, it's about understanding, thinking, growing as a learner. So you can start with books like my recommendation. First book is Atomic Habit by James Clear. Second book is a fictional novel, Farm by George Orwell. Another book is one of my favorite books, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Next, we have writing. Now, writing is also one of the most important productive skill in language learning. It's not just about writing words; it's about organizing your thoughts and expressing your ideas clearly and effectively. When you write, you actually get time to think. You can plan your ideas, choose the right words, and structure your sentences properly. Now, this really helps in improving clarity and accuracy. Also, writing plays a very important role in both academic as well as professional life, whether it is writing emails, maybe writing reports, assignments, or even simple messages. Good writing skills are always essential. In many cases, your writing becomes your first impression. Now, one important thing is writing improves with practice. The more you write, the better you become. You can start with simple things like, writing a daily journal, short paragraphs maybe, or even summarizing what you read or listened to. Okay, so another useful point is to focus on structure. You have to focus on structures. Try to organize your writing with a clear beginning, middle, and also an end. This makes your ideas more logical and easy to understand. And yes, grammar and vocabulary are important, but you don't have to worry about perfection in the beginning. You don't have to. Just gradually, with practice, with regular practice, actually, you will definitely improve. So you don't have to worry at all. Just practice more. So overall, writing is not just about a skill, it's a powerful tool for clear and effective communication. You have to practice more in order to be confident and precise. So to conclude, LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, they are not separate skills. They are actually, deeply connected. Listening improves your speaking, reading eventually improves your writing skills, and together they helps us become confident communicators. So if you really want to improve your English, focus on all four skills, not just one: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Start small, practice regularly, and most importantly, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Okay? Because learning language is a journey, and consistency, I believe consistency is the key. Now, I would like to ask few questions to you. First question: what is the full form of LSRW? I think you got to know. Now you have to write. Second question is, which one is more important according to you? In LSRW, which one is more important? Now, third question is, what is shadowing? And fourth one is shadowing an essential technique for learning the different nuances of language? You can write your answers in the comment section. And thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.